after I got out of high school, I joined the Navy, so I was gone for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So I had a big gap. But I remember the ball teams, you know, they had a lot of semi-professional players in the late 40s, early 50s. And it was a fun time. You had no problems, you know, you could do whatever you wanted in town.
It was safe.
Yeah, what were some of the things that changed from when you left to when you got back?
Oh, well, the movie theater was gone. You know, they used to have movies every night. I don't know.
How much did a movie cost when the theater was still here?
I think it was a quarter.
Quarter.
Popcorn was
Pretty crazy.
What, now it's like $8 to go to a movie?
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
It costs more to eat popcorn than it does to go to the movie.
Yeah.
But in those days, it was popcorn was a dime. Of course, your allowance, if you got allowance, it was 50 cents a week, you know. And we had, you know, a lot of sandlot ball games, and it was a great place for a kid to live when you were. And they had, I don't know, maybe Vernon told you, every summer they had the sweet shows. You ever hear of the sweet shows? It was a road show of, and they had different acts, you know. We'd put a tent up, well, it'd be where the football field is now.
Okay.
It's not right. Yeah, it would have been where the football field is. And they had, they put up a tent, and every night they were here for like 3 or 4 days. And they'd have a stage show. And the kids, all the boys my age, why we would help put the tent up, and then we'd get in free. You know.
Oh, okay. What about like county fairs? Were you involved with county fairs?
Not very much. We would go, but we didn't. And we used to go to learn to swim. Of course, we didn't have a swimming pool. So we would, do you remember Harry Lindgreen? Have you ever heard of Harry Lindgreen?
Yeah.
Harry Lindgreen had trucks, and every a couple times a week, why he would bring a truck, and all the kids would get in the back of a stock truck, and we'd go to Lamar's, and we'd learn to swim at the sand pit at Lamar's. You ever been to the park at Lamar's? There's a pit there. That's where I learned to swim.
Really?
We still swim there.
Do you guys? There used to be like, didn't there used to be a lot more like grocery stores and restaurants and things?
Oh yeah,
too?
we had like 4 restaurants. There was, I think, 4 grocery stores.
Wow.
And they were open every Wednesday night until like 10 o'clock. And every Saturday night, of course. Saturday nights was a big night. You know, everybody, all the farmers came to town on Saturday night. And I worked in a grocery store, carried groceries to the car. And the women would all come in and buy their groceries, and they would set them in bags along the wall. And then when they got their husbands, after playing cards or drinking beer that night, they'd come in, we'd carry the groceries out at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Really? That's
kind of interesting.
that is cool.
Yeah, every Wednesday and Friday night, because they didn't have, a lot of people didn't have refrigerators.
Oh,
at
that's
that, you know.
true.
I can remember we lived on a farm across the road from, you know where the sale barn is, down by the Midway Park.
Oh,
Midway.
yeah.
And we lived out there, and we didn't have a refrigerator, and so we would have a bucket, and we'd lower the butter and the cheese and that stuff down into the well where it was cool.
Right.
Keep,
Huh. I can't even imagine not having a refrigerator nowadays.
yeah, you know, and we didn't have electricity. We had gas lanterns and the old style lamps. No central heat.
What year did you graduate?
1954. 55 years ago.
Yeah. That's incredible to think.
Were you around when the blizzard of, what, 79 hit?
I just gotten out of the Navy, and I worked at the fertilizer plant in Mobile, right there in the north edge. And I went home early because it was so bad. And there was cattle walking down the street, or down the highway, you know, going with the blizzard. And I stopped at where Jerry Herbold lives. And he wasn't home, I don't think, but I told Leah and to get the cattle, because I went on home and they went to get the cattle.
Oh, poor cows.
How much snow did you guys get that year?
Well, I don't know, we lived in the, do you know where Rick and Linda Mercer live?
Oh, yeah.
We lived in that big house.
Oh, okay.
And the house right next to us to the north was Glen Growth and Wilma Grove. And the snowdrift the snow come over the top of their house, and there was a level drift from the roof of their house across the street out into the...
Wow.
And we had cattle in our backyard from, I don't know where they came from, that they were drifting with the blizzard.
Poor cows.
And they had a snow plow to clear that drift, and it took him about half a dozen times to get through it. You know, he kept hitting it to get through it. A lot of snow.